Hello and welcome once again to Region Weather Live, your online YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. I am meteorologist Brad Warner. We still have a couple systems to talk about. One affecting the region Tuesday night in through Wednesday with rain and snow. Another one with a big Colorado low ejecting out on the weekend for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's go ahead and take a look right away. And here we start out early Wednesday morning, and with all this moisture being drawn up to the north, we have some rain being developing in the southern reaches of our region and some snow further in the north. Now, as we go in through the morning hours, you can see the precip continues to increase with rain in the south and snow to the north. I do think Fargo is kind of going to be right on that dividing line as far as the rain, snow, maybe even a slight possibility of some freezing rain in with that. But you don't really have to go much further south than Fargo before you definitely will run into rain. However, areas north of there will likely be more likely be snow. Now, as we get into the 9 and 10 a.m. Time frame, you can see that dividing line continues to be right in through here. But there is also the possibility of some moderate snow developing through north central regions of Minnesota once we get into that 10 a.m. time frame. So we push this along and we get more into the noon hour. Try to drag some of that cooler air a little bit further south, but we still have this band of moderate snow through north central parts of the Minnesota at this point around the noon and 1 p.m. time frame. And then once we get later in the day, 3, 4, and 5 p.m., most of that snow now is in eastern parts of Minnesota with just the moderate snow out in the Arrowhead region, possibly picking up some pretty good snows up along the North Shore and then across Cook and Lake counties as well. Once we get into the evening hours, Wednesday evening, most of that system is now moving out. And all we're left with is maybe the possibility of a little bit of light snow in far north central parts of North Dakota, but really not much expected there. Now a look at the snowfall potential for this first particular system. We're going to be looking at a range of 4 to 7 inches of snow basically right in through here. Once again, that Fargo to Duluth line kind of being the main dividing line for any kind of rain and snow, and anywhere south of there is going to be mostly rain for the most part. The remaining areas, we're going to draw that line out just a little bit further out and then back again here. And I would think within this line, we're probably looking at 1 inch, maybe 1 inch on the far edge of it to 3 inches once you get closer to the purple. And then once again, kind of in through here, we're looking at that 4 to 7 range. Now, as for that weekend storm, here we are Thursday night, right around midnight. You can see some rain and snow already developing in north central, northwestern parts of Minnesota at that point. Once this low continues to pull out of the Rockies and continues to pull in more moisture and more warm air, we really push that snow line to the north out ahead of this. So with the continued warm air push out ahead of this low pressure system out here. That's a horrible looking L, but whatever. Expect just a whole bunch of rain to form out ahead of this as this really gets cranked up more so throughout the day on Friday. Now, as we zoom out here and take a look at the longer range model at this point, you can see where the low is now positioned in north central parts of South Dakota. And out ahead of this, all this rain, some thunderstorms, well out ahead of this low pressure system. And then on the back side of this, where the cold air is kind of getting entrenched in, here's where you can see that snow beginning to push in, as well as I talked about yesterday, the possibility of that freezing rain. Before we didn't have snow on the ground, so it just basically transitioned from rain to snow. Now we've got some snow on the ground. Some of those surface temperatures could be a little bit cooler, so it might be more of a rain to freezing rain to snow transition in some locations. So we will have to be mindful of that with this particular storm. Now here we are on Saturday morning and Saturday about noontime, and you can see with this particular model where the snow now is in eastern parts of Montana, western parts of North Dakota, and that could be moderate to heavy at times on the backside of this low pressure system, as well as some gustier winds. By Saturday evening around 7 p.m. A little more of that snow pushes just a little bit further east at that point. And then we'll continue to seeing some purple in there, which means that transition of sleet or freezing rain, but still out ahead of this rain and thunderstorms out in eastern parts of the Dakotas and in through Minnesota. Now, as this does pull out to the northeast, of course, you continue to wrap the cold air back along with it. So you might see some snow eventually filtering into portions of eastern North Dakota and eventually into northwestern parts of Minnesota as well. Really not expecting a whole lot of snowfall with this. Most of this right now, as it looks, as we sit here on Tuesday night and through Wednesday, most of the snowfall looks like it's going to be central and western parts of North Dakota one more time. With lighter amounts a little bit further east, but we're still looking at also the potential with plenty of wind here. Here we are Sunday morning, and we're definitely looking at gusts of 45 miles per hour, possibly greater, associated with this throughout the day on Sunday as this low continues to move on out to the northeast. Now, of course, the other thing we got to talk about is where is the snowfall going to occur? And right now, as it sits here, it looks like through north central parts of North Dakota down through southwestern parts of North Dakota, basically and through right through where some of those hardest hit areas were last week is where the potential of more snow is going to occur. And that's probably not what anybody really wants to hear, I know, but you're definitely going to be getting some more moisture. The other thing with this is not that warm a temperature. Saturday is really going to be some of our warmest days out there, and with temperatures in the 80s in the far southern parts of South Dakota, and then 60s possibly reaching into Fargo and Grand Forks and regions up through or along that US Highway 2 region across Minnesota. But that comes with a lot of rain with that as well. So it's not going to be a very comfortable 50 or 60 degrees. And then after that, things continue to cool off on the backside of the slow pressure. And through the week next week, we're really looking at highs in the 30s to 40s and not very much melting or not very warm air. We're still going to be sitting below average for this time of year through most of next week. There is some hope next weekend of some warmer temperatures coming. We'll have to keep an eye on that and keep our fingers crossed that that indeed happens. So once again, as always, please go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. It doesn't cost you a thing. It just helps my channel out. You just hit that little button, and also when the little bell pops up after that, also go ahead and hit that little bell button so that whenever I do upload a video, you're notified and you know exactly when I have something new online. And that helps me out tremendously. So if you could just go ahead and do that. And as always, leave me a little comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from. That also helps me kind of figure out who's watching and where to sort of pay attention. So thank you all for watching. I am meteorologist Brad Warner for Region Weather Live. Have a good one.